How y'all doing out there? This is Prison Delight, where we bring you the real. We keep funny stories, sad stories, and we always keep it real. My name is Mace Chat with my co-host,
Darnell Smith, a.k.a. Manteen. This is our fourth show, and we got another one of our guys from Behind the Wall Mentors, Russ. We can ask a couple questions. Russ, what's up? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Free out here, so everything is beautiful right now.
Okay. We can get straight into it. Tell us your name and how much time did you do?
Well, my name is Jamar Slade Russell. I go by J.S. Russell. That's what I write under, where I post under mostly everything like that. I've done 12 years on a first-degree murder. It was life or suspended but 50-year sentence. It got modified to life or suspended but 49 years. And I've been fighting, getting creative. And, I mean, thanks to God and then this reentry program in which they have in PG County, I was able to, make that move and transition into my freedom, and that's where I'm at now.
Okay, so how did you make that? How's the transitioning from jail to being free now? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my situation, I feel like it was blessed because even when I was in, I would think about how I would prefer to have like transitional housing to kind of get me adjusted. So dealing with the reentry the reentry program, they put me in a spot called the Jewel House for 6 months. And, they're geared towards addiction, but they're working for reentry too. So it gave me a chance to slowly get out of that, the habits that I had in prison. Like I still had a problem with stepping in the shower with my shower shoes on. Even once I got home, I had to break out of that habit. But everything else they helped me with, being able to take advantage of the SNAP, doing things that I need to do to get my license back. And they did a whole lot of counseling and programming and stuff like that to kind of make sure I was ready. So, that was a welcome break, being the fact that, I had more freedom. I could sleep in my own bed, wasn't in the bunk bed. I could use the bathroom by myself. And then I was around some women, so just the energy was a lot better. Then on top of that, I got to go outside. Like, it'd be the small things, man. I seen a pine cone on the ground, messed me up. I touched the tree, the leaves got to crying. It was real like that, like the simple things that, you ain't able to do while you in the joint. You better not step in that grass, stuff like that. Man, it's crazy. But yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about what role you play in Behind the Wall Mentors.
Okay, well, with the Behind the Wall Mentors, right? Well, let me give you a little background with that now. The founder, which is Sean Gardner, you could probably follow him on authorseangardner.net. He had already started the Behind the Wall Mentors, in another facility. I believe it was North Branch. But he came down, let's say around 17, he started a self-publishing class. So when he did that, and I'd already been involved in the institution with like Men for Life and Youth Challenge, being a facilitator, he was telling me what he was doing because that's how I got into the whole self-publishing thing. I was trying to learn, the game. So not only was he generous with the class and sharing his resources, he let me know what he was doing with the Behind the Wall Mentors. And I was like, bet, I'm already doing that. So we did what we could do as far as talking to the youth over the phone, writing a few letters. It really didn't have the traction that I would have liked at the time. Then we did a newsletter. So, how this prison thing goes. Sometimes you get split up, things like that. But then we got back together in the building. Also came across another brother by the name of AC Amin, and so he had a magazine thing going on. So we was like, man, look, it's time to turn up. We got the magazine out there. All of us combined probably got like over 20 self-published books. Myself, I have 8. I believe Sean has about 8 himself. You got Dratus Home. He might have 1 or 2. shoot, the list goes on. Like that, we got some work out there. Marco Lomax got his, and he's working on another one. Joshine Wall has one, working on another one. So yeah, so it's just about pumping out information and getting it to the youth. Nelson. The other thing that I was doing was trying to publicize our stories. So I got to making these things called zines. I learned that from Pen America. And so putting together our stories, like you might have seen the one that we did, man, saying the West Free. That was Sudan's idea, and he was supposed to have been working with that with Abdullah. And we just continued on because, I mean, like, you know how this goes. Sometimes a brother might leave or go somewhere else, but the struggle continues. So my thing was just trying to figure out creative ways to push ourselves out. And the good sister Jay Renee had the platform with Prison Ride Radio. So every chance I got, I was trying to record and put things out there. So, I'm gearing towards marketing and directing it. So I got to make as much noise as possible to make sure guys get home and people know about the struggle.
Right. So now, since you're home, what's your next step? What's the next step for you?
Well, working with the prison ministry. So I definitely want to, and I was part of the AME church before being incarcerated. So now I'm continuing on with them, and their reach is global. So I'm definitely trying to tap into that. Let it be known what's going on, and because I'm a product of the struggle. I want to make sure that with the behind the wall mentors could be able to educate the kids on financial literacy in a better way. Because the violence is going up, and like we in tune, we've been locked up with all the youngers. We know it would either be guys trying to get some money or make a name. And I mean, there's a better way to do that, especially one that don't involve losing your life or, whether it be to the system or, to violence. So it's just creating that way and bringing exposure so that people know to invest in the lives of the guys that's in the streets and the ones that don't have. And that's pretty much what I'm focused on, using all the work that I've been doing.
Right. Okay, that's my co-host got a couple questions for you.
All right, cool.
Fresh, what's up, man?
Man, how are you?
Man, man, staying strong, man. Trying to follow the blueprint. So my question for you is, tell us about the reentry program that you use.
I bet. So it used to be under this other guy. I want to say his name was Greg Saunders, but this new young cat by the name of Lamont Hedden, that took over. And so with that, he put together his team, couple case managers, I believe Miss Sims and Miss Mail, and they really started getting to work. With it. So what that is a part of you get evaluated for 8505, 8507, and unfortunately, a lot of us that been in the streets and the system and stuff that had substance abuse problems, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or whatever. So the lady comes, interviews you with that. She gives you the thumbs up for that. Then it's going forward with, the rest of the process. So you get interviewed. And so upon the interview, they have to decide on whether, it's a thumbs up or not, whether you're ready to go through because, you got to have the right type of people. We're talking about public safety, as far as transitioning. And I know it's been a couple, I had life or suspended sentence, but there's been a couple guys with sentences harsher than mine. And so that's always a concern for the citizens. But those of us that have been working on ourselves, we know we're not a threat of anything. We're an asset. So, just blew them away with the interview and definitely made my mark. So, and I've been continuing to do so because I got to go to court every week to check in with them, to let them know what I'm doing. It's an 18-month program, so it's 6 months inpatient. The next 6 months, home monitoring with a curfew. Then the next 6 months, you get the monitor off, but it's still, you check in and do everything, random urinalysis and whatever else they have you to do. But, man, being free, they could, pretty much ask me anything, within reason. So, it's all to my benefit. So, that's what it is.
Right. So how much time did you do on your sentence?
12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
On how much?
On life on suspended but 50. That was the original sentence.
Okay. Still.
Yeah, so it got. Say that again?
I said just to elaborate for the people, to let them know how much you did, how much you had, how much the reentry program really helped you a lot.
Exactly. So with that, right, and even he told me, man, he was like, man, we had to fight. They felt like I ain't have enough time, and so that was one of them situations where I was like, damn, tearing up because I could have still been in there. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things that was remarkable. Like, I was in the cell with Sean at the time, and it was totally unbelievable. So I was like, man, I ain't never even heard of nothing like this on the sentence that I got. So it was definitely a cause for celebration.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All praise be to Allah, man. To God, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my next question is, how do you feel about the things that's going on outside? Since you've been outside for a little minute now, how do you feel about the things that the young dudes are doing outside?
This is my stance, right? Because I haven't been in tune with everything with the news, because I've been kind of focusing on trying to get things straight. But I feel like every generation is going to excel the previous. So if we was out there thugging, the next generation going to go even harder, because that's what it tends to be. And then with the drugs and the ghost guns and everything like that and stuff like that, it's kind of in a way in which it's going, but it's also things work in cycles. So though it may be worse now, it's going to get better. And I think with the influx of guys coming home, you know what I'm saying, to be able to set the standard of what real men is, and how we move, that's going to be a huge part of letting people to see, because you got to think, all the men was taken from us with that crack epidemic. You know what I'm saying? So, it was different. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that just continued on. But they, some things is happening. So that's my whole thing, is just giving them a better way. Because me and Sean would talk about that. Can't just tell them not to do something and not give them the thing to do. So, and a lot of the wrong stuff is glorified, but it's just time to shed light on the real.
Right, absolutely. So my question for you is, one, how did you feel when you finally left prison? Like, what was that feeling like?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this: when a lady told me my release date, I felt like my feet weren't touching the ground no more. I was still on the compound. Like, man, look. So when I finally, the process, it was totally surreal, because it's parts of the prison that I ain't never even seen before. When I was getting my little money and stuff like that, and it was like, man, oh, okay, this was. But it was for a long period of time, man. Even going to court, a lot of stuff. It was kind of not tough to grasp, but it was like, damn, it's really here. And I still, sometimes when I speak to my mother, like, we sit down and we sipping coffee, I'm like, Mom, really here. Like, I can do this with you now, So
I can understand that.
Yeah.
So tell the people where they can find your work.
All right, well, this is the situation. Because I did a lot of those books on Amazon through a third party, they all on Amazon. I just not getting nothing from it, and I'm working with them now to get control over it. So I still say, check all of that stuff out. Even my website went down because of somebody out. It's just a lot. So this transitioning period right here, and I haven't even been home a month, is just really getting everything together. So I did create the YouTube J.S. Russell. So I'm putting stuff on there. I got the Instagram, J.S. Russell 56. You can go on Facebook, J.S. Russell. So I'm constantly posting content in the process of getting everything together, because right now it's just about attracting the help that I need. and letting people know that I'm serious, that I've been putting in this work, and the grind ain't gonna stop. So, you know. Also, man, anybody go to author SeanGardner.net to get that Behind the Wall Mentor magazine. That joint's serious. It's a lot of good information on that. Like, I definitely pump that. But there's 8 books, 2 children's books on Amazon. And like I said, as time goes on, I'll be posting all of that stuff. Just follow me on Instagram, JSRussell56.
Okay. So, one more question for you before, the show's over for real. Tell us how you wanted to become a writer.
Well, this what happened with that, right? I had messing around with my cousins up Jersey. I've been writing, trying to do the little rap thing, but I ain't never know how to count bars and stuff like that. So I just kept on with them spiral notebooks. You know how that go. But it just evolved into poetry because I don't know nothing about counting bars or even doing the beat thing. I tried it, but my stuff wasn't never on no trying to be more gangster or whatever. Like, as far as me with the streets, I ain't want nobody to know about that. But as I was in the county jail, because I lost everything, even though dealing with the woman that I did, I had like a collection of writings for years that I lost, and I made the decision never again. So I would publish my work, and I just continued writing poems until I realized, like, look, I could do something with this. And then I thought it would be a great tool to market myself to get out of prison, and so that was the whole thing. I'm like, man, if I don't have nothing else, I mean, my mind and my hustle wouldn't leave me. So I had to hustle words and express myself, and it turned out I was pretty decent with it. So the poetry, good. The children's books are good, things that I still need to do. And it's another project that I'm working on with the sister Tia Hamilton from State vs. Us magazine, Urban Reads bookstore. And it's a children's book that's highlighting, like, children with incarcerated parents and things of that nature. So I wanted to bring light to that story. That the idea actually came from the woman, Amari Sawari, Sawari Media, that has the Right to Vote report. She gave me the idea. I wrote the story, and it's been like years in the making. Also, it's a guy, con artist from out Cali, that's doing the illustration. So that's coming out next.
Okay. Looks like you got a lot of good things going on. So now that you are home, tell the people about the right path that you stay on to stay home.
Man, for me, it's doing what I've been doing, man. Like, keeping the focus on my faith, as far as knowing that God has brought me through all of this stuff. I ain't going to stop with that. I got to go ahead and do that, and then the things that I had to learn and evolve into growing into as a man while I was in, knowing what my responsibilities are, taking care of me, taking care of my daughter, helping out my mother, showing up for the people that showed up for me while I was in, and being a man of service. Like, ain't none of this mine. It's all God. So it's just up to me to, be a good steward. Manage it, be fruitful, and do what I'm supposed to do for the people.
I'm doing that, man. We definitely appreciate you dropping in to give us some good knowledge, man.
Man, thank you for the opportunity, man. Yeah.
Man, absolutely, man. So those who out there listening, just because you come to prison, you don't have to be stagnated here. You can always progress and grow. This is all about progression. Just because you came in here a person who really didn't know, or a person that was on the wrong path, you can always get on the right path and be successful in life. Man, so Russ, we definitely thank you. Absolutely, we really thank you, man. So I'm gonna let Manteen finish talking.
Hello, hey Russ. I got a 2-part question before we go, right? I want you to give me some advice for the youth. And I want you if you could tell your younger self, what would you tell yourself, your younger self? It's a 2-part question. Answer that for me.
Man, look, again, I'm going to say get that Behind the Wall Mentor magazine, because I did a letter to my younger self in there. Me and Marco Lomax. So I'm gonna put that out there, right? But basically, the stuff that I kick myself in, especially like from what before I came into prison, and I had a little bit of dough, I wanted to get into real estate, and it was like, man, I should have just sat down and did the research myself. So what I would tell the youth right now, with all of this information, like this YouTube been blowing my mind since I've been home. Like you can find out everything that you want to do on this. But like really pay attention to those that are successful, those that are really successful, not the ones that's showing it for the gram, and then pay attention to what they do. It's a lot about personal development. And that's what I was focusing on while I was incarcerated. So to myself, utilize that library, utilize YouTube, utilize the internet for the right thing. Don't never let nobody tell you what you can't do. Forget what everybody else doing. Focus on your goals, figure it out, knowing that it's a process, and stick to that process and have laser-like focus. That's what I say.
Right. Yeah. That's good advice to the youth. And what would you tell you? You said you already just give them a brief snippet.
Well, this is basically like what I was telling myself.
Okay.
And I spoke to my 14-year-old self because that's when I made that decision to jump out there. I was just like, man, look, get in that library, read, right? Because you got to invest in yourself that way. I told myself to go ahead, get a job, get my work permit, and just grind. Just make sure I'm saving up towards the things that I want. At the time, I knew I wanted to go to college, so I should have studied more about that, figuring out how I'd be able to afford that, figuring out what ways and what was available to take advantage of. Like I would tell myself to actually get with my guidance counselor so that I could get guidance. Because back then I thought the guidance counselor was for trouble. When you got in trouble, it ain't dawned on me. Yeah, guidance counselor for guidance, duh. But when those were the two things, man. Like really to read, work, and just stick at it. Those were the two things that I remember that stuck out to me from what I told myself, because I dealt with depression and low self-esteem because of some financial situations going through. And so that was the other thing. Learn about money. There's a book I'm going to tell everybody. I always push this. Richest Man in Babylon. It's an easy read, but read that. And I always liked it too. Reading Rick Ross, Freeway Rick Ross article in State vs. Us magazine. He said his favorite three was Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, and Richest Man in Babylon. Like I've read all of those books multiple times. Definitely suggest that.
Okay, that's a good read for the listeners. And Russ, man, I definitely appreciate you for taking your time and just shedding some light on what's going on. You always was one of them guys that really, always, like you said, stayed in the book, stayed writing, and always kept your feet. So I definitely appreciate you for just coming on and dropping them jewels for us. We just following up the Behind the Wall mentor thing that we got going on right now with our little Prison Delight podcast, like my co-host said, funny stories, sad stories, and the real. So I thank you, Russ.
Well, you tapped in with me now, man. So whatever you need, whenever I need to contribute or whatever, you got the info.
Okay, I got you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Here go my co-host.
So we definitely appreciate everything that you came through, rocked on us, man. We hope that you keep up the good work. And hopefully, man, me and my co-host, Manteen, a.k.a. Mr. Donnell, see you soon, man, on the streets, man.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Miss J. Shout out to Miss J. This has been a BTW movement with Miss J behind the wheels, man. We definitely appreciate all of y'all.